Marcus say, Sir Marcus say, free for the land, Africa. Marcus say, yellow for the gold that they stole. Sir Marcus say, black for the people it looted from. They took us away, the red, gold, black and green.
Yes, yes, yes.
Rally round the red, gold, black and green. Marcus say, so Marcus say, red for the blood, flow like.
And good evening and welcome. My name is Adiyemi Bandeli, and I have the pleasure of being your host, one of your hosts this evening. The International African Arts Festival, in conjunction with the National Kawaida Association of National Kawaida Organizations, welcomes you to a very, very interesting discussion this evening. It is also our first virtual for 2021. As you know, with the COVID situation, we had no festival last year, but not to be deterred, we had to do what we do. And so we went virtual. So we thank all of you who have continued to support us here. Tonight, we have a very, very interesting discussion. We're going to talk about the efforts to have a statue of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey constructed in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And to introduce our guests, let me introduce my co-host, my sister, my partner, my friend, Sharon Gordon.
Thank you so much, Baba Yemi. Greetings, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Forward ever, backward never, right? That's where we are tonight. And we're going to have a wonderful conversation. But before we do anything, and I introduced our esteemed guests, and they are all here, yes. We are in need of your support. Like Baba Yemi says, we were unable to host our 49th annual festival last year due to COVID, as you all know. And we brought you festival virtually, we brought you libation virtually, and we've been since putting on these virtual community conversations, for lack of a better term. And so we need your support, we need your help, we need you to continue to help festival to grow. And this year we're looking 50 years, right, Baba Yemi? 50 years.
Absolutely.
Of the International African Arts
and
Festival.
You're not even that old.
Well, we're asking folks to donate at PayPal. Please do. Just go to info@iaafestival.org. It's that simple. You can also then donate by Zelle, and that's with the phone number 917-309-0728. 917-309-0728. We also have a Cash App account, and our Cash App is the $ IAA Festival, the $ IAA Festival. Now that I've gotten all of that out of the way, donate. Now I'm going to get over to introducing our guests who are all here with us this evening. I'd like to start with the person who is the furthest away from us. He's all the way now in motherland, Africa. Ambassador Frederick Davis, how are you? Greetings and welcome. Ambassador Davis has been a member of the organization that was founded by the man who we are focused on tonight, the most honorable Marcus Garvey. He has been a member of the UNIA since he was the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League since he was 12. Did you all just hear me? Since he was 12. And he has held the position of so many things: President General, International Organizer to the Marcus Garvey, UNIA and ACL. He led the effort to exonerate Marcus Garvey for the UNIA and ACL. He is also the founding director of the Pan-African Technical Association, PATA. And PATA is organized to implement science and technology projects in the US, Canada, and Africa. And his bio is very, 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 very intensely written. And so I'm just going to take the time to stop there, Ambassador Yao, because I could go on and on with you. But welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for all you do and continue to do for our youth and for our people. Thank you for being here. Our next guest.
Thank you. I'm welcome.
Thank
Just
you.
wanted
I had to abbreviate it, Ambassador Yao. I had to. Our next.
No problem. I just wanted to make
Thank you.
one adjustment. Can I just make one quick adjustment?
Please, yes.
Second Assistant President General, not President General, but second
Assistant. We got to fix it, of course.
Okay.
We got to get it right. And now our next guest is someone who has become, I mean, for me, just a brand new hero, because in sending out a flyer about this event, I found out that he's a cousin to a dear friend of mine. Good night to Andreen Bonner. I'm speaking about none other than the artist, the Renaissance man himself. And all our guests tonight are Renaissance men in their own way, but Nigel Lloyd Binns is an accomplished portrait sculptor, and he paints in the realist tradition. And there's a lot that I can say about Nigel. Nigel, like I said, is a sculptor, martial artist. He has written books. He's a philosopher, historian. Did you know that it was Nigel that was commissioned to sculpt pop icon Michael Jackson's image for the top selling artist of the decade in 1980? Did you know that? Did you know that it was Nigel who was also commissioned to create a, and this was by Motown Records, a gold-plated Maasai princess bronze sculpture for none other than Stevie Wonder? Do you understand now why Nigel is here? Are you getting an idea? You're going to find out more about this fantastic artist, Renaissance man, as the conversation continues. Welcome, Nigel. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Sharon. I'm very honored to be here, and looking forward to a great interview and great camaraderie between ourselves as we go on for the night. So thank you.
Ashe,
It's a pleasure
thank
being here.
you. And of course, our next guest is none other than the son, the second son of the Right Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I'm speaking about surgeon and medical professor, Dr. Julius W. Garvey. And Dr. Garvey, who actually was born in Jamaica and got his training in Canada at the McGill University. Dr. Garvey earned his BS from McGill and went on to earn his MD and CM degrees from McGill as well, and is a faculty, is also on the faculty there and has been there since the 60s. Dr. Garvey does a lot, and he's gonna share with us about many of the things that he does, but you know, he is a Woolmer's old boy, and I know a lot of Woolmerians are watching tonight, so I have to shout out the Woolmer's posse. So welcome, Dr. Garvey. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our program. I'm gonna turn this over now to Baba Yeme.
Thank you, Sharon. You know, you and I always go through things here. So I want to just for a minute go to Brother Nigel, because I asked him about the spelling of Nigel, and you said something quite interesting.
Which one of the things that I say?
Well, you know, about the spelling that he uses. Nigel, why don't you tell us? Because normally, you know, we're used to seeing the Nigel.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, you know, Brother Yemi, thank you for asking. It's a small point, though. You know, I'm a member of the Screen Actors Guild, and I've done a number of stunt work, films, and fight coordinating and so forth. As an artist, I use the name Nigel with a J, and that's my signature. My birth name is Nigel with a G. But by the way, there's also another reason for that distinction. You know, there's a Nigel Binns in England. Not me, but another Nigel Binns. And he's an exterminator. And then you have a Nigel Benn, B-E-N-N. And Nigel Benn is a boxer with West Indian heritage as well. We both have that in common. So there's a lot of Nigel Binns, Benns, and things of that floating around.
Okay, so
that's why.
So listen, Sharon was wrong, because she was saying that that's how people in Jamaicans in England spelled Nigel.
I thought the J
true,
was
right?
to let them know that he's a Jamaican, like I'm the Jamaican Nigel, you know?
Hey,
listen,
well,
stop. Let's proceed. First of all, Dr. Garvey, I'm honored to have you with us here. And let's start by sharing with us, what is the vision for this Marcus Garvey Home to Africa project?
Well, what I'd like to do is just give a little bit of history. You know, I've known y'all, Brother Y'all and Nigel, for more than 20 years. I mean, we go back. I think, as you've read in Y'all's bio, he was a member of the UNIAACL from age 12. So he's a Garveyite of the old school. Of course, I have it in my DNA. I've also known Nigel for many, many years, more than 20 years. And he has done statues of my dad, Kwame Nkrumah, Nelson Mandela. I have them in my foyer here, and his mother of Africa. So I know these two gentlemen for a long time. I know their Pan-African credentials, and I also know them as human beings in their own right. Now, you know, we've done things with y'all in Ethiopia as well as in Ghana, and y'all also helped me process with the lawyers the exoneration proceedings that I presented to former President Obama for the posthumous pardon of my dad. So again, you know, y'all is very close, as well as Nigel. Now, y'all came to me last year, you know, in about the middle of last year, with the idea of doing a bust for my dad and placing it in the African Union. And I thought it was a wonderful idea, you know, because I'm all about the legacy of Marcus Garvey. And he had already contacted Nigel, because Nigel has, again, worked with me. He's worked with y'all in terms of previous statues. So there we were, three, you might say, old comrades with this idea. And that's how it started. And we have accumulated people in the coordinating committee, as we call it. And we've been proceeding. And, you know, y'all will tell you his side of the story, and Nigel will not only tell his side of the story, but he'll also show the process and the procedures that he's going through in terms of sculpting the bronze. So, you know, we look forward to this, because as many of you know, my dad was the major Pan-Africanist for the first half of the 20th century, but he never did set foot in Africa. Now, my mom did, Amy Jakes Garvey, in 1960. She was invited by Nnamdi Azikiwe to Nigeria for their independence, and then went on to Ghana at an invitation from Kwame Nkrumah. And she met Haile Selassie there and was honored there. And Kwame Nkrumah bestowed on Haile Selassie, I think it was the Star of Africa. I think we with a black star. So, you know, and I have been to Africa many, many, many times, been to Ghana many, many times. My brother has been hosted in Ghana, etc. So we have a strong connection. But as I said, Marcus Garvey is the only member of the family so far that hasn't been to Africa. So, you know, I thank you all for bringing up this idea. And, you know, we're working on it together.
So let me ask then, Yao, Professor Dr. Yao, Ambassador Yao, how did this come to be? I mean, did you just wake up one morning with this incredible idea that we need to do this, or what motivated you?
And thank you for the question, and thank you, Dr. Garvey, for that wonderful opening that you did. Yes, we've known each other for 20 years, and you and I and Nigel, we have worked, you know, various projects. So I'm happy to be involved in this. And as Dr. Garvey said, I've worked with Nigel in the past on sculptures, and the first sculpture I worked on was commissioned in 2016, and is at the headquarters of Ethiopian Airlines, the Colonel of the bus, the sculpture of the bus of Colonel Robinson. So I was in London Heathrow Airport one time, and they were calling me because they were going to upgrade me on the flight. And then once I got to the counter, they said, "Oh, you're the creator of the bronze." I'm like, "The bronze?" I'm like, wow, that's a good way to reference it, the bronze. And then I was in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia in 2019, and I happened to be at the African Union, and they were having sessions at the African Union. So me and my friend that were there, we wanted to take a break from the session. So we walked into the older building of the African Union, not the new building, but the older building of the African Union. And then we bumped into actually the second in charge of the African Union Commission, and his name was Ambassador Kwesi Kwache. And at that time, he was the ambassador to Ghana, but now he's the second in charge of the African Union. So I decided to see if he invited me to his office for a meeting, and I scheduled a meeting, and we went to the office. So we're just talking about the African Union, talking about the sixth region and the diaspora. And then I said, oh yeah, outside, I know the statues of Kwame Nkrumah, I know the statues of Haile Selassie. I know this artwork all around the buildings of the African Union, artworks from Benin, artworks from Nigeria, artwork from Egypt, artworks from various countries. But then I didn't see anything from African Americans or African Caribbeans or African Brazilians. I didn't see anything from the sixth region. So then the Honorable Kwesi Kwarteng would start talking about influences and people who influence it. And he goes, yes, Marcus Garvey was one of my, great heroes. Kwesi Kwarteng said that. And then I said, wow, I've worked in his organization and been a member since I was 12. I know both his sons, and I think, he was a great man. And then Kwesi Kwarteng said, it would be good if we have a sculpture, a statue of Marcus Garvey. And I said, that's great. I believe you. I'm in sync with you. And I know a great artist who can do it. So let's see if we can get this together. So that is how the Marcus Garvey bronze came about for me. And then as Dr. Garvey said, I was able to we were able to talk about it. And Dr. Garvey said, hey, let's do it. Let's get on board. So that's a story, as
All
they
right.
say, and that's
So,
history.
a natural segue to the artist, the Renaissance man. But two things. One, then there was no open competition for this. I mean, Nigel had the inside track because of his history. So Nigel, clarify for me, bust versus sculpture. Are they interchangeable terms? And which one is it that you are creating of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey?
Well, Demi, a bust is a sculpture. It's a form of sculpting. You could have a full figure statue, or you could have a bust, or you could have a monument. They're all sculptures. What I'm doing is a larger than life size bust, meaning from the waist up.
Okay. And so what was your inspiration behind this?
My inspiration is Dr. Julius Garvey and Brother Yao. I've known them as they both spoke for about 20 years, and they inspire me. I get inspiration from both of them. First and foremost, however, I get inspiration from our ancestors. I know that, for example, I saw a film on Patrice Lumumba called Lumumba by Raoul Peck. And the opening scene where Lumumba was, murdered and his body was chopped up and burned and so forth, inspired me at that moment to create what is probably now the defining statue, according to his children, of Patrice Lumumba. So I'm inspired by our ancestors first and foremost, but we have a wonderful, incredible opportunity right now at this point in time in history. And Dr. Julius Garvey and Brother Yao and myself, we're all inspiring each other to move things to that next level.
Sharon, why don't you pick up from there then?
Well, I actually was going to ask Nigel what inspires him, but he has already gone there, and I am blown away, and we can see what actually inspires him. And thank you for that, Nigel. This is just so incredible. Why is the project, the Marcus Garvey Bronze Sculpture Project, so important, though?
Well, for me, it's important for two reasons. First of all, to my knowledge, this is the first statue or monument or bust of the Honorable Marcus Garvey that has been endorsed by the Garvey estate. There are over 20-something statues, bronzes, waxes, and so forth that have been created over the years, but this is the first one. And it's very significant that we all are converging at this point in time in history. So all of us, your listeners, we who are working on the project, we are here at this moment in time. There is no other moment in time except right now. This is very important. So
I'm going to put that question to everyone else then.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you that, Ambassador Davis. Why is
this is important.
Sculpture Project so important? And thank you for that, Nigel.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sharon, this is important to me because it's important to us as a people, as an African people on the continent, as African people in America, the Caribbean, where we are. Because Marcus Garvey laid out the blueprint of us coming together as African people, as Black people. So this is an opportunity for us to continue and fulfill the dream of Marcus Garvey, to come together and work together as a people. And that's one reason that is important. Another reason that is important is that it gives us an opportunity to inform many people. Dr. Garvey has the idea of informing and getting more of the youth involved, because he knows the youth are going to carry this forward. The youth are going to carry this forward and come up with a United States of Africa, or a united Africa. And this gives us an opportunity to work together. One important thing about the UNIAACL, the Universal Nuclear Improvement Association and African Communities League, is that it gives us an opportunity to know who we can count on, to develop those that we can be more reliable in the future. And the organization gave us an opportunity to work projects and work activities together so we can know each other, so that we can know our flaws, so that we can know our issues, so that we can improve those flaws, improve those issues, and work together as continental Africans, or work together as diasporan Africans to bring about a renaissance of our people. So this gives us an opportunity to demonstrate what Mr. Garvey did. We say that Mr. Garvey was the one who took Pan-Africanism from theory to practice better than no other. And we see that with millions and millions of members of the UNIAACL, steamships that we made, and steamships that we made, named after Antonio Maceo, steamships that we named after Phyllis Wheatley. I knew people who sailed on these steamships back in the 1920s. So this is the legacy that we're striving to bring to fulfillment, really. So it gives us the opportunity to do that right now. As Nigel said, this is the time and this is the moment.
Thank you so much for that, Ambassador Davis. And of course, we come to you, Dr. Garvey, to just tie a bow on that. Why?
Yes, Marcus Garvey, laid the foundation for the reconstruction of African civilization. He called it the redemption of Africa. And of course, Bob Marley popularized that with Redemption Song. So that's what we're all about, redeeming Africa from the position in which, basically European imperialism has pushed it. It has pushed it aside. It has destroyed its history. We're the original people. We fathered and mothered all humanity in the whole world. We created the first civilizations. We taught everything first, whether it was agriculture, geometry, algebra, mathematics, government, et cetera, et cetera. Now, all that has been pushed aside, and we've gone through all of what we know. We were just commemorating 400 years a year ago, in 2019, actually. And we had a lot of people been looking back to Africa. Well, that's Marcus Garvey's movement from 100 years ago, from 1920, when he had that conference in Madison Square Garden and at Liberty Hall, about the conditions of the Negro peoples of the world. So here we are now, basically 100 years later, and saying, well, what has happened to Garvey's dream? And we see out in the streets here in the United States and all over the world, Black people being killed, really, by racist white police who are militarized and so on. So we know that conditions haven't changed that much since the time of Marcus Garvey, when lynching was rampant. So we still have a long way to go. But we see people such as the group, the Black Lives Matter, in the street. They're young people, but they don't know their history. They don't know what has gone before. They don't know the foundation. They don't know the philosophy. They don't have a roadmap, a blueprint from which to launch, their movement and plan for the future. So in bringing Marcus Garvey to the fore at this point in time, with this sort of symbolic representation, I think it will elevate the discourse around who we are as African people, especially relative to our unity, our self-reliance, our self-development, and the fact that we're an ancient people with an ancient history and an ancient civilization. And if we look at what exists today, we realize that what's called European civilization is a failure. So we don't need to imitate that. We just need to go back to our roots, you see, and a lot of the foundational plan was laid by Marcus Garvey. So that's the purpose of our being involved in this, to raise the level of awareness of who we are as a people, and that we must come together, Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Garvey. Thank you. Brother Yemi, do you want me to keep going, or?
Yeah, no, I wanted to just.
I knew you would want to jump in here. Yes.
Yes, because Dr. Garvey, we are fortunate to be part of an organization that has been around for 50 years.
Yes.
And you know, in the spectrum of history, that's not very long. But for us as a people in the United States to sustain an institution for 50 years is an accomplishment. And we've had many challenges along the way.
Mm-hmm.
As you begin this journey, what have been some of the challenges that you have experienced thus far?
Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you, your organization, and Maulana Karenga, you know, for keeping up the fight, so to speak, you know, for 50 years, and for emphasizing to us the major aspects of our culture, those 7 Nguzo Saba that he has brought to us, and are so well demonstrated in the life and work of Marcus Garvey. You know, I think, you know, more and more people are celebrating Kwanzaa at the present time, not only in December, but I think all year round, as we see that as the essence of African culture that we can incorporate in our everyday life. So I salute Maulana. He's a genius in his own right, and he's given us a great legacy. And definitely he has had to go through a lot of things. You know, as you know, my father had to go through a lot of things, including imprisonment. But I think this is the type of leadership that we need, you know, and we call it, you know, server leadership, whereas the leader really serves the people and is willing to put up with any indignity or inconvenience for the people that he loves and the people that he represents. You know, in terms of problems that we face, I mean, you know, they're minor in comparison to the problems that my dad faced, and I'm sure, you know, Maulana faced in terms of the early days of his organization. You know, we're in a time of lockdown, we're in a time of COVID, it makes it difficult to communicate. We're also in a time of recession, so it makes it difficult for people to reach in their pockets, you know, for something like this, which is not, you know, fundamental to their day-to-day existence. They do have to buy groceries and pay the rent. So, you know, this is the sort of milieu in which we are functioning. But we know that there are like-minded people out there, and we are reaching out to them. And we know that those clouds will lift. I mean, I think you can see, you know, the type of people that we have on board in terms of you know, Yaw Davis and Nigel Benz. I mean, these are committed people for 20 plus years. You know, Brother Segun Shabaka, I've known him also for many, many years. And again, he's committed. You know, your organization is committed. So all we need is unity. If we have unity, then there's no obstacle that we cannot overcome.
Back to you, Sharon.
Well, on that note, I just want to go right then to Ambassador Davis and ask him, what kind of support have you been receiving from our brothers and sisters, in particular those on the continent?
Thank you, Sharon. And I'd like to thank you for putting on this program, because it's a great aspect putting on this program. So I'd like to thank you all for that. And the support that we've been given and getting from the continent is that, first of all, Ambassador Kwesi Kwartey. Ambassador Kwesi Kwartey basically embraced me. And he said that this is a great opportunity and this is a great project. And we would love to have the bust of Marcus Garvey here. But we have to go through the procedures to make that happen. And there have been people here on the continent who have been supporting me with respect to the African Union in Ethiopia. And then I'm in Ghana right now. And then I happened to be able to go and meet Ambassador Kwesi Kwartey at his residence in Ghana. And he and his assistant, William, were able to give me some background with respect to what it takes to interface with the African Union. Because what we're dealing with right now is we're not only dealing with one government, which is a representative entity, and that's the African Union, but we're dealing with 54 governments in Africa. So whatever protocols we need, whatever procedures we need, they are explaining to me that. And this is an opportunity for us as the sixth region, and we are members of the sixth region, whether we're official members of the sixth region or unofficial members of the sixth region, we are Africans in the diaspora. So now this is an opportunity for us to work with continental Africans, get to know how they think, get to know how they run their governments, and then interface with them and to show them our value and our worth. And Marcus Garvey said, until the continental African comes together with the Caribbean African, that comes together with the North American African, then we'll never fulfill that dream of coming up with a government, with an entity that is going to protect any African, any Black person, wherever they may be, whether they be in China, whether they be in the United States. And that's the beauty of Marcus Garvey and the UNIAA. So continental Africans are looking for us to step up as Africans in the Caribbean, Africans in the United States. But what I've learned from these continental Africans and what support that I have is that we have to understand and acknowledge their procedure and their process. So that is, they're giving us an opportunity to show our worth and show our value. And they're working with us to educate us on their institutions and what they establish so that we can be part of that. And this is a great opportunity for us to be part of that and show our worth and show our value. And as Dr. Garvey said, this is hard times right now, but it's no harder times than our ancestors have faced in the 1920s and 1930s and 1940s. So right now we're at an opportunity to raise money for the sculpture. And then that is one of the things I've been doing along with our others member of the committees is raising money for the sculpture. So this just gives you a small glimpse of the interactions and interfacing that I've been fortunate to do in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa, and in Ghana. And I returned back to Ethiopia, Addis Ababa on February 13th. And then I'm going to start interfacing more with the government and of Ethiopia and the African Union, because one of my dreams is to do something at the Palace of Haile Selassie, the Jubilee Palace, have a Marcus Garvey birthday celebration at the Jubilee Palace. A friend of mine said, well, that's good. I think it's very good because I've been to the palace a couple of times, and I would like you all who we hope will come to the installation to be able to go to the palace. So I'm going to start working that when I get back to Addis Ababa. And the other thing I'd like to do and work with my team is to charter an airplane, charter Ethiopian Airlines airplane. The first Black man to fly a commercial jet airplane is Captain Alamayo Abeba, and he's from Ethiopia. And I was able to interview him. So, and then we're able to get an airplane named after an African American. And that's what Marcus Garvey said. We need to name all our idols. Our idols are men and women of big affairs. We need to put those names out. We need to make sure that our youth knows about those names. So we'd like to charter an airplane and have Black pilot, Black crew, African pilot, African crew fly that aircraft from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia to Jamaica. And some, are kind of losing the motivation and losing the spirit to make that happen. But you all on this call, you all on this Zoom can help us to make that happen. And it's not just my dream, we can have a common dream. And this is part of our common dream.
I love this. I'm just blown away by everything you're saying, because I know that Nigeria, I think it was, just did some kind of a test flight to Jamaica directly. So this is great. You're really moving in the right direction and building that bridge, right? But I'd like to ask Dr. Garvey, the Right Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey is our first national hero in Jamaica, right? What kind of support are you getting from Jamaica, or the brothers and sisters, or even with Dr. Davis, Ambassador Davis telling us about wanting to do something at the, the palace of Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Are the, what is going on in terms of the support from Jamaica then, and even probably some of the Rastas? I'm not sure. Could you share with us about that?
Well, basically, you have to look at what we're doing in two different, phases.
Okay.
One, it's our project, and we have to fund the project. We're not asking any government to help us raise money, and this is what we have been at. And we just had our press release 2 days ago, and this is our first, public Zoom meeting. We have been organizing ourselves, and we've been raising money, and we're continuing to do this. Now, we have reached out. I was, fortunate in 2019, the year of return with Ghana. I was part of a delegation that went there, and we met with President Akufo-Addo, and he's a strong supporter of Marcus Garvey, and he, verbally said to me that he will, sponsor the presentation, if you will, of this project to the African Union, which should be taking place at a meeting in February. I'm not sure if it's the first or the second week. So we have his support, and we reached out to other leaders. The Prime Minister of Jamaica at this point knows about the project. We have reached out to CARICOM, that's the Caribbean group of nations. They also know about the project. But it's up to us to continue in our efforts in terms of raising the funds and making it happen, and creating the venue, as Yaw has been talking about, in terms of the trip itself, both to Addis and as well as to Accra, Ghana. So those are things that are taking up most of our time at the present time. But we have, several relationships with different groups, different organizations. We have a relationship now with Afro Global, television network in Canada. So we have Canadians aboard. We have, one of our members who has business interests in Jamaica, and he's looking and informing our community there, Rastafarians in particular, relative to the trip, and so on. So the outreach is there. We'll get as much outreach as we need in terms of the heads of states and ambassadors. They're needed more for the protocol, not for this part that we're doing.
Okay.
But I'm sure, that is assured. As you say, Marcus Garvey is the first national hero of Jamaica. I have communicated with the Prime Minister. I've communicated with the Minister of Culture. I've communicated with the Foreign Minister. So they're all aware of what we're doing. So it's a matter of the protocol of how it gets done, in terms of the format of the procedure.
Dr. Garvey, if I could interrupt for a moment. Are you at liberty to say what the cost of this project will be?
It's of the region of 100,000, which is both the sculpture itself, as well as packaging it and transporting it, and all that's necessary to get it to the AU in Addis.
Hey,
Approximately 100,000.
What is the timeline for all of for the project then?
Well, basically, we're looking at Marcus Garvey's birthday as the event day. So the trip itself will be done around that as a center point.
Okay.
So we will definitely get to Addis before then, right? Now, we don't have the exact dates yet, but it will be like a week or 10 days to allow for time both in Addis as well as in Accra.
Got you.
So we are looking at August, the middle of August, in terms of being actually there and having the formal ceremony, the installation and ceremony.
Cool. Sharon, I wanted to jump to Nigel real quick and also give us an opportunity to see what it is that is actually going to be worked on. But Nigel, can you share with us where you are in this process?
Right. Currently, I'm finishing the clay statue. It's taken me months really to get a lot of the detail. You know, what I wanted to do with this particular work was put as much detail in there. And as a portrait sculptor, I know it's important for me to enable the viewer to really feel as if this person's coming to life. The subject that I'm working on, I have to get every wrinkle, every detail. So I'm finishing that process now with the clay, and then it will go into the bronze phase next after mold is made and then taking it to the bronze.
All right. Now, I want to jump
that's-
back though,
That's kind of where I am.
because
Looking good.
Dr. Garvey talked about the cost for this project. And I was quite surprised because I was thinking we're talking millions of dollars, but $100,000, that certainly is doable. However, I don't want to be presumptuous because Sharon will tell you right now that the festival is in really dire straits. Sharon?
Yes, yes. And we just want to remind folks to donate, donate, donate. You know, COVID decimated us. I mean, the festival, all of our funding comes from our vendors and our patrons. That's it for us. And you can imagine the dire straits that we found ourselves in when COVID hit and we were not able to host our event. And so we certainly understand about the need to raise funds, and we understand how important it is to keep building those bridges and keeping the community, you know, connected. And right now, if you don't mind, I just want to say to folks, please go to our PayPal info@iaafestival.org, info@iaafestival.org, or go to Zelle. You can just take this number down, 917-309-0728. That's 917-309-0728. And we also have Cash App. Cash App is the $ IAA Festival, the $ IAA Festival, because we need to continue doing this work. If you are appreciative of this program this evening, this is the first program, the first time that this committee is sharing this work with the public in this way. And it's our platform that they've chosen to do this on. So it tells you that we are doing good work. We are partnering with organizations that are doing good work in the community, and we're Pan-African. So please understand that when you are working with us, you are working as well with these organizations, because this is how we come together. We have to come together and make it work, right? As Bob said. I want to take this time though, Baba Yeme, if you don't mind. I know you want to talk to Nigel again, to talk to him about his vision, but can I just ask Dr. Garvey something real quickly?
Sharon, you know I can never say no to you.
Thank you. Because because we're talking about this, I just wanted to get Dr. Garvey to tell folks, you know, where can viewers go to get more information and to do their donating and what they need to do. I think this is a good segue for that. And then
Absolutely.
Thank you for that, Baba Yeme.
Yes.
Go ahead, Dr. Garvey.
Yes, you can go to www.marcusgarveybronze.com. www.marcusgarveybronze.com, and you can call 323-212-5244 or 876-220-6308, and checks can be made payable to PATA, P-A-T-A, and mailed to PATA, P-A-T-A, Post Office Box 431-727, 431-727, Los Angeles, California, 90043.
I'm going to ask you to do two things, Dr. Garvey. Repeat the address for the check and give them the website one more time, please.
Okay, the website is www.marcusgarveybronze.com. That's all sort of one word, marcusgarveybronze.com. And the post office box is 431-727, 431-727, Los Angeles, California, 90043. And phone numbers are 212-5244 or 876-220-6308.
And all checks are made payable to PATA.
That's right.
PATA. Thank you so much, Dr. Garvey.
You're
All
welcome.
yours, Baba Yemi.
Yes, as our time winds down, Sharon, Nigel, I wanted to come back to you for a two-part question. One is, as an artist, and particularly with this piece that you're working on, what is it that you want somebody who goes to Ethiopia, to Addis Ababa, and sees that statue? What do you want them to take away from it? And then the other part is, I understand little Birdie told us that you are looking, or you have a vision of a hall of sheroes that you'd like to see at the African Union. So answer both of those, Sharon. Stop.
Yes, thank you.
Nigel?
I'd like to create a hall of heroes and sheroes at the African Union. As a portrait sculptor, I think I'm in a very unique position, having done the work I've done, to put that idea forward so that all of the heads of state can envision that there will be a hall that you walk down of great personalities throughout African history at the African Union. And what I'd like people to come away with when they see the statue of Marcus Garvey, I'd like them to understand that if my work is done correctly and if I honor the ancestors, they will be able to feel a connection with the Honorable Marcus Garvey. That's my goal, that's my intention. And hopefully I'll be successful once the statue is complete to have that interaction with the public and the viewers.
Ambassador Yah, real quick, you mentioned earlier that you had walked around the area, the halls. Are there statues of women presently there?
You know, yes, there are statues of women, and we also, as Sharon and yourself and Nigel said, we want to make additional statues of women because, you know, we're partners with women in everything we do. And in the renaissance of our people, we're a true partner with women. And then I just also wanted to thank some of our sponsors, some of our partners, Strictly Roots Business in Jamaica and in Florida, the Marcus Garvey Institute for Human Development, and the True Culture University and Legacy Productions. These have been our partners and have been working with us on a project, and we thank them and we thank them and we thank them again. And we're looking to develop other partners and other sponsors of the project. And I would like to thank you all for hosting this program. As you said, it's our first program that we've done where we're bringing this to the public, and hopefully we'll have other ones and we'll have many, many more. So thank you all.
Well, I think that we will certainly have you all back and at least keep us posted in terms of the progress. Dr. Garvey, any brief closing remarks, and then Sharon is going to take us out?
No, I'd just like to add on to what you just said. You know, it's a developing project, and we certainly would like to come back on this venue like this to update you on the progress that we make as we go along, because I think people would want to know that. And you know, we're happy with what you have done, you and Segun have done to bring us to the public in this way. And we certainly thank you, and we'll give you as much information as we can so that we can continue to inform the public in terms of how we are progressing to the major event.
Well, I want to extend an invitation for you all to join us in July at our 50th anniversary. We don't know exactly how it's going to show up, but however it shows up, we look forward to having you all back to report and give us a sense of where we are, because you would at that point be almost a month and a half out for the completion of this project. I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank all of our viewers. Remember, you can continue to watch this, and I want to just turn it over to Sharon. Thank you all so much. Everyone be blessed.
Thank you.
Listen, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Brother Nigel, did you want to say something? I saw your body language looked like you wanted to add something right when Dr. Garvey was speaking. I'm like that. I saw that, and I want to give you the minute or so to do that.
natural
Oh,
mystic.
thank you very much, Darren. Thank you. No, it's just to say that I'm really inspired by Dr. Garvey and by Brother Yao, and that I hope our viewers, yourself, and everyone can just enjoy the fact that this is our moment and our time to build. And so I invite everyone to become involved in what we're doing. This is a defining moment for all of us. So I
Yes.
thank you so much for having me on board and having me as a guest on your show. And my congratulations to everyone. And let's move it forward. Let's move that peg forward a notch and get everybody to come together to do what we need to do. That's as much as I can say. Thank you.
Or whatever.
Backward never.
Backward never.
Sounds good to me.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Doesn't sound like Marcus Garvey. It sounds like Kwame Nkrumah. Anyway, up you mighty people, you can accomplish what you will.
Up you mighty race, you can
That's right.
accomplish what you will. We'll give you that too. And we're going to show
That's
them how
right.
we accomplish.
All righty.
Accomplishing. This has been a wonderful program. The feedback has been great. Some folks are reaching out to me. To everyone watching all over the world, thank you. People are in Jamaica are very excited, Nigel. Just so you know, I'm getting a lot of like, oh my God, that's Nigel. So you know these Jamaican families, right? Them big, right?
Yes, yes.
So thank you for that. Listen, folks, please follow us on social media. We are IAA Festival. IAA Festival on Twitter, IAA at IAA Festival on Instagram and Twitter, and IAA Festival is our page on Facebook. We also have our YouTube channel, IAA Festival, and our website is iaafestival.org because we are a non-profit organization, .org. Please go on out and support, follow us, share this information. We will be back next month with other programming. I don't have a date as yet, Baba. No, right? Not yet.
No, that's it.
Not yet. Okay. So what I'm going to ask folks to do, again, thank you. Just hold for a minute for me, please, until we run our credits. I'm just going to ask everyone to do like we do in the studio and remain quiet on set, please.
But again, want to thank
your time. Thank you, Baba Yeme.
and want to thank Nigel once again, Dr. Garvey, Ambassador Yao, and Ambassador Yao. We're glad that you stayed on because they brought this stuff up that your link was real poor. I thought we might lose you. So we're grateful. You all stay blessed and much success.
And Baba Yemi, we have to thank Alamar and Raul and Baba Shagun and everyone who worked, Brother Osei and everyone who worked behind the scenes to make this evening's program possible.
And please stay safe.
One God, one name, one destiny.
One
Africa
God,
for the
one
Africans,
name,
those
one
at home,
destiny.
and those abroad.
Yes,
Yeah.
So we'll have a little music and we'll roll our credits. And everyone, have a good night and be safe.
Mother, son, daughters, everyone. 400 million strong. Ethiopia stretch forth her hands. Closer to God, we Africans. Closer to God, we Africans. Closer to God, we can. In our hearts is Mount Zion. Now you know. Seek the lion. Our hearts is Mount Zion. Now you know. Now you know. Hey. How can we sing?